Hi everyone, Nigel Saunders here. Today I'm going to be working on my rosemary bonsai, and things haven't been going very well with this plant. It didn't have a good growing season this summer. Parts of the rosemary grew really well. If you look at the apex up here, it grew really tall. But the rest of the tree didn't grow very well. I got a lot of dieback on some of the branches. You can see this one is just barely hanging in there. Some of the growth is fairly strong down below, but most of it kind of went into that apex. I was hoping the whole tree would kind of strengthen up this summer, but it didn't. It kind of got fairly weak down below, and all the growth went in the top of the tree. I repotted this rosemary from nursery soil into bonsai soil 2 years ago. And the first year it kind of grew weakly, and I thought, well, that's because I did a lot of root pruning. And I expected this summer it to just take off in vigor and grow really strongly. But it didn't really do that. So I need to figure out why. I don't think overwintering was the problem with the slow growth this summer, because I overwintered it here in the glass greenhouse where it stayed just above freezing. So I've got to figure out what's going on with this tree. I was looking up the ideal conditions for rosemary. They like warmth, good sunlight, and dry soil, good free draining soil. So last summer we had a very wet, cool summer. It rained almost every 3 days. The temperature never got really high. I noticed my ficus didn't grow very well last summer. So maybe my rosemary the slow growth is just the result of a poor summer. So I'm going to leave it. It's in a good free draining bonsai soil. The pot has good drainage, and it's getting as much sun and warmth as I can give it. So today I'm going to prune it back. I mean, I did get some good growth on it. It just didn't explode in growth like I was hoping for. So maybe the next summer things will go better. I'm going to begin the pruning now, and rosemary is very tough wood, so I'm going to use the ratcheting pruners so I can cut through the wood really easily. And I'm going to start by pruning off these big tall leaders on the tree, reducing it back to a more compact plant. So here I go. I'm going to start on this tall branch here, and I'm going to leave, some growth on the branch. A rosemary, you should never prune it back to bare wood because they don't really back bud easily. So it's a good idea to keep some healthy foliage on the branch tips at all times. So I've got some sub-branching at this level, so I'm going to take it off just above there. So here I go, like that, taking that whole tip off. I've got another tall tip here, and I've got some branching happening here, so I'll take the tip off at this level, like that. And that gets all my huge extensions off. The rest I can scissor prune back to size. Alright, I'm going to begin the pruning. So I'll start with the strongest shoots, pruning the back. So this one started growing strongly and then the tip died off. I think maybe because the summer started out warm and then it got cool. So I'll take that tip off. So again, I'm leaving some healthy foliage on each branch, pruning it back. And I'm not really worrying about the style too much at this present moment. I just want to get the tree growing nice and healthy first. So this shoot is really strong here. Just take the tip off that one. There's a good strong shoot here growing, so I'll just take the tip off it. There's one out the back here that's very strong. I'll take it back a little further. This one could be taken back. So I think that's about, well, there's one tip here I could take back and maybe just the tip off here. And I think that's about it for the pruning. I don't want to take it back any further. There are some places I'll clean up, some stubs from prior prunings. This branch looks totally dead here. This whole branch here, it only has a little bit of foliage out at the tip. I doubt it's going to survive, but we will see. So I'll take off this stub here. So I'll just come in and prune that dead stub back. Like that. There is another stub on the tree over here. So this one right here I can prune back. That looks good. I've got a few dead branches here, but I think I'll leave those on and see what happens. Maybe they're alive, I don't know. So we'll just have to wait and see with that. I'll put some rubber cement on my cuts I just made today. I don't know if it'll help it or not, but it certainly won't hurt. Here's a look at what I pruned off the rosemary today. So what I did prune off looks good and healthy. It's nice and green. So hopefully, the rest of the tree will take off next summer. We'll get better weather in the summer, less rain and more sunshine. If we do get another rainy summer this year, maybe I'll keep the rosemary in the greenhouse here, keep it a little drier, warmer, and I can't do anything about the sunshine. So we'll see what happens to this tree, if it'll ever become a cool looking bonsai or not, or maybe it'll just become a plant that you pick the leaves off and bake with potatoes. The next tree I'll be working on is this dwarf pomegranate. I was working on this tree with Zin when I had my surprise 60th birthday. So the tree has grown really well since then, and today it needs to be pruned back to a small tree once again. This tree was given to me by Zin. So it has a great little trunk on it down here. A nice thick trunk. And it's grown really, really well, as you can see. So it's intended to be a small tree, so today I'm going to be pruning it back to make it a small, compact tree once again. I could begin the pruning work on this tree by shortening all these new shoots back to make a compact tree. However, the base of this tree is quite thick, and then it has all these new shoots sticking up. So I need to find sort of the transition from the stump of the tree to an eventual upright leader. And I may want to leave that shoot longer so that transition is a little more gradual and flowing. So I've got to look at the base of the tree and determine my trunk line. I'll clear away these leaves at the base here so I can see what's going on. And these leaves are just starting to fall off now. This tree has been in the cool basement and it's going into dormancy. Pomegranates like a cool period in the winter and they'll lose all their leaves. Or you can keep them slightly warmer and keep the leaves on them, but they definitely like a cool period over the winter. So now I can see what's going on with the trunk line here. So I have the trunk comes up and then it divides into two here. And I remember there was quite a dead section on the trunk back here where a big branch was pruned off, and it kind of, there's this part of the trunk is dead and it's starting to heal around that area, so that will continue in the future. There's been a big branch removed up top here. That's also a large wound that needs to be closed up eventually. So this is definitely the major trunk line of the tree, this flow right here. So I've got four branches going from this one area here. I've got the little one to the left, a lower skinny one here, and then these two upright ones, and this one is definitely the most thick branch. However, you know, generally to get taper, you want to pick your thinner branch as the new leader. So in this case, I think I would be best to prune off this vertical one and keep this as the trunk line. So coming off to the right and then straight up here. That would make a nice flowing kind of twisty leader to the tree. I'll show you a close-up of that. Here's a close-up of this trunk line. So it comes up here, and then this would be a nice leader, and then this is the tip. So pruning off this part and these branches. So this is my trunk line. So it would continue kind of twisting up, and I get lots of good movement and taper in the trunk line of the tree. This shoot isn't very tall, so it will make the tree quite short. Off this side, I've got, you know, the trunk line divides here, and then I've got a couple of vertical shoots here, and then I've got a flowing branch off here. So I could remove these thick upright ones and keep my skinnier flowing branch off to the left-hand side here. And I think that's a good move for the tree. So let's get out the pruners and begin pruning it up. This tree does have some fruit on it. So there's a look at one of the dwarf pomegranates. And it has, you know, still some flowers coming out. Like they've kind of dried up now, but yeah, it flowered all summer. It's quite a spectacular tree, these pomegranates. I'm going to begin the pruning by pruning off these upright new pieces of growth. So I'll just cut them off roughly to here. So there goes my fruit. This one back to here. This one back to here. So those are my major upright trunks or new branches that are growing in. So now I can come in and do my branch selection. So I'll come in here. I was going to take this one off on the inside here, like that. I was going to keep this as my leader, so I'll prune this branch back here, and I'll leave a stub for dieback. I've got a stub out the front from previous prunings. I can prune that back. And then I've got to prune this off flush, so I will nibble that away. Rough cut first, and then I'll come in and clean that up like that. I've got a branch growing from way down here that I don't want. It's growing right against my trunk line. There. That's gone. And then I don't think I want this branch here because I want my trunk to extend up. So I'll get rid of that. Maybe I'll prune this back a little more. Like that. So now you can see the trunk line here coming up, tapering with lots of movement. I will reduce the height of this leader back to there. Down lower on the tree, you can see I've got kind of a cool looking branch here, and then there's a new shoot that's growing in below, so I want to remove that one. I don't want branches that low down, and I've already got the one off this side, so that can come off. And I'll just clean that cut up a bit so it's a little more flush, like that. So this side of the tree is looking much better. I will reduce these branches back. There's a stub here I can take off. And then you can see here's the buds. There's buds on this branch and there's some buds here. So this vertical one doesn't really kind of flow with the branch. So I think I'll just keep this one. I'll prune it off shorter and I'll take off the vertical part like that. Keeping that branch kind of twisty with lots of taper and movement. I'll clean this stub up here. Like that. Makes that branch a little more flowing. And then out this side of the tree, I have this kind of large stump of a branch growing up here. If I keep it, I've kind of got opposite branches. And this one's getting very thick. I'd hate to prune it away. If I took it right off, I think the tree would look good. But I think I need to keep it because it would make such a big cut here that it's just not worth taking it off. So I'm going to, I just noticed there's a little bit of scale on this tree. So I'll have to spray it when I'm done here. So I'm going to keep this part of this branch here. So I'll prune it back shorter. I'll prune the one on the inside away. This one can be shortened. This one can be shortened. This one coming out here, I don't think I need it because I have another branch coming out the back here, which I may or may not keep. I'll shorten it for now and then I may take it off in the end. I am going to reduce these large stumps back from that vertical growth, so I'll do that now. Reducing that back. I'll just clear out these leaves here. Like that. So I have, like on this branch, I have two kind of stumps here, and I need to prune those back. It'll leave quite a scar, but I don't want it all lumpy looking. So I'll start with this one out front here. And just nibble it away, getting it back to more of a flowing branch. It'll have quite a scar there, but I think that's about as much as I can reduce that. Coming up from the trunk here, I have two branches here that I don't want. They're competing with the trunk line, so they're coming right off. That one and the one behind here. And I'll just clean those cuts up. That's good. So now I have to decide about this branch at the back here. I think I'll keep it. I'll just shorten it back to here. Like that. So that has got the dwarf pomegranate all pruned up. I'll show you a close-up of it and I'll rotate it around. Here's a look at what came off the pomegranate today. So a lot of new long branches. I should put some cut paste on the tree before I do anything else, so I'll do that now. All right, here I go with the rubber cement. Just sealing up all those wounds so they don't dry out too much over the winter. Here is a look at the tree now. So you can see it's not very high. It's only, the height of my hand at the moment. So I'll rotate it around so you can see it from all angles. So here we go, coming around. So as the tree grows, all these cut points will slowly heal over and make a very interesting trunk line in the future. The next step ahead for this little pomegranate will be to repot it, sort out the roots once again. So I think it's coming along really nice. It's a nice small kind of twisty tree and it's got a good sized trunk on it. Yeah, I think it's got a good future ahead of it as a small tree. I've probably pruned off all the scale insects, but I will spray the tree with soap and water just to make sure there's no insects on it, like that. So I'll let that soak in for a bit, and then I'll rinse it all down with rainwater. I'll give the tree a rinse now, and a good watering before it goes back into the basement for the winter. See how it's draining? Oh, it's draining very nicely. There is one more tree I'm going to work on today, and that's my Pyrenean Oak that I got from Dave of Blue Sky Bonsai. I left this tree to grow all summer, and you can see it put some fairly good growth on for a small tree. This tree has been root pruned and top pruned once before. So today I'm going to just clean it up and get it ready for spring. You can see there's a branch here that's crossing the trunk line. So I'll take that out. I'll prune that right away. Like that. That's looking better. There's a stump here I can clean up. Like that. This shoot here is getting very long, so I'm looking for buds. There's one on the bottom here, which would get my branch growing more horizontal. So I think I'll prune back to that. So I'll leave a bit for dieback. Prune that off there. The branch out the back here has a stub on it that I'll clean away like that. And then it's also getting long. I have a bud on the bottom of the branch here I can prune back to, like that. And then up top you can see there's some really vigorous buds here. So I need to prune that back too. This branch it goes vertical. I don't think I want that, so I'm going to remove it like that. I've got a stub here I can clean up like that. And then I want to take this large bud off the tip. I want to activate these buds that are further down on the branch. So I'm just going to take that tip bud off like that. Around here I've got a stub I can clean up. Let me just rotate it around. So you can see there's a stub here I can prune back. Like that. And again, on these two growing tips, I've got really strong buds at the tip. I want to prune those off. And it divides into a Y here, and I generally like to keep one of the divisions stronger than the other. So this one, I'm just going to remove the bud at the tip, like that. And the other one, I'm going to prune back further to here. I do have kind of a central leader here. I'm not sure. I
think it's alive, maybe. If not, it'll get pruned off next time. And this, maybe this will become my new leader. So I think that's got it pruned up. It's in good shape for spring now. I will put some rubber cement on this also, just to stop these cuts drying out. These Pyrenean oaks get a really nice shaped leaf on them. They're really beautiful trees for bonsai. I'll rotate the oak around so you can see it from all angles. So here we go. To the right hand side. The back of the tree. And the front of this tree may change in the future. Over to the left hand side. And back to the current front. My Pyrenean oak is all pruned up and ready for spring. I'm ready for spring too, but there's a long winter ahead. That's all for today. I'm Nigel Saunders. Thanks for joining me in the Bonsai Zone.